Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today we have another video by request. Sally Morrison asked if we could make Kaiser rolls, and so today we are making Keto Kaiser rolls. These are super easy and quick because they do not contain yeast, which means no waiting around for them to rise. You mix it, you bake it, you eat it. So simple, so quick. And if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You'll find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, you can scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Lightly spray 4 to 5 burger molds that are around 3 to 4 inches in diameter, depending on how big you're wanting your Kaiser buns to be. If you're wanting them to be more of a dinner roll or a slider type size, then you would be doing the 3-inch diameter. If you're wanting them more of a burger size, then the 4-inch diameter would work best. I am doing the 3-inch diameters because I want mine to be a slider size. In a large mixing bowl, combine 85 grams or about 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 13 grams or about 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of the brown sweetener of your choice. I'm using golden monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever brown sugar sweetener you want. I know this seems like a weird thing to put in a bun, but one of the things that separates Kaiser rolls from other rolls is that they usually traditionally use a small amount of malt powder or malt flavoring, which is not keto. So the closest thing that I've found that can resemble that taste in this particular recipe is brown sweetener and maple extract, which we'll be adding that later. Right now, just 1 teaspoon of brown sweetener works for now. Add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Sift or whisk these all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they mix in more smooth. 2 ounces or 1/4 cup of warm water. Make sure it is warm water. This helps your dough to come together better, which helps you to have a more fluffy Kaiser roll. Stir the eggs and the water into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients have been moistened. Add 180 milliliters or around 3/4 cup of the oil of your choice. I'm using olive oil. You can use whatever oil you want. And 1 teaspoon of maple extract. Again, remember I said the maple extract and the brown sweetener are to help replace that malt taste that traditional Kaiser rolls have a hint of. Mix everything all together until it's fully combined. Once you start seeing the ingredients fully combining all together, then give the dough a vigorous extra 20 to 30 seconds. This just helps the coconut flour start to absorb any extra moisture and the xanthan gum to start binding everything together really well. If you're not wanting to use the xanthan gum, you can omit the xanthan gum and the water and add an extra egg, or you can replace the xanthan gum with finely ground flaxseed meal or psyllium husk powder, and make sure you keep the water in if you use that substitute. But if you do use any substitutes, it can or may affect the texture and taste of the dough. So keep that in mind if you do decide to do any substitutes. Once everything is fully combined, you're going to have a very wet dough. It's supposed to be this way. Dampen your hands just slightly and push the dough all together into the center of the bowl and form the dough into a smooth ball. It should come together very smoothly and create a nice smooth ball very easily. Then knead or massage the dough in your hands for about a minute. This is going to test the texture of your dough. At first, the dough is going to be wet, very slightly sticky. It should not be sticking to your fingers, but it will have a slight sticky, wet texture. But as you are massaging it, the coconut flour and the xanthan gum are going to start to absorb that extra moisture, and it won't be quite as wet by the time you're done massaging it. It will still have a damp feel because you do want that extra moisture, but it should not feel any stickiness to it. Once you've massaged the dough, then allow it to sit for about 5 minutes. Again, this is so that the coconut flour and the xanthan gum can start absorbing the extra moisture and binding together really well. After 5 minutes, we're going to test the dough to make sure that it hasn't dried out and that it's the right texture. So just take a small portion of the dough, just a few tablespoons, roll it around in your hand. It should come together in a very smooth, tight ball. If it seems to be not coming together well, if it seems a little crumbly or anything like that, then you can add a very small amount more of warm water, just a few teaspoons at a time until you get the right texture. I didn't have to add anything extra. It came together just fine for me. But depending on the density of your coconut flour, it can vary on the amount of water that you need. So you're looking for a soft, smooth, slightly moist dough that comes together into a tight, smooth ball very easily. Scoop the dough out anywhere between 1/3 cup and 1/2 cup at a time. This depends on how big you're wanting your buns to be. If you're using the 3-inch diameter like I am, you're going to scoop it out 1/3 cup at a time, and it's going to make about 5 buns. If you're using a 4-inch diameter, you're going to scoop it out about 1/2 cup at a time, and it'll make 4 buns. Roll each dough portion into a tight, smooth ball. Then use your hands and slightly flatten the top of the balls. I usually kind of cut my hands a little bit when I do this because I like the top of my buns to have a little bit of an arch to it. However you choose to shape your buns is up to you. Just remember that coconut flour does not rise a whole lot. So for the most part, whatever shape and thickness you put your buns into the oven, that's for the most part what they're going to turn out to be. These do rise a little bit, but not a whole lot. Once your buns are formed, if you want to, you can use a butter knife and put a very small, very light X into the center of your buns. Another thing that separates Kaiser rolls from other rolls is that traditionally when they're baking them, they pull the dough up into 5 segments, or they use a pinwheel type stamp and stamp 5 segments into the top of the Kaiser bun. But most people don't have a pinwheel shaped stamp in their home, so you can just do this very lightly with a butter knife if you choose to. Just make sure it's very small and very light. Then place them in your preheated oven and bake at 400 degrees for anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes depending on how big you've made your buns. If you've made them in the 3-inch diameter, they're going to be anywhere from 15 to 17 minutes. If you've made them the 4-inch diameter, they're going to be anywhere between 17 to 20 minutes. You're looking for the buns to be golden on top and a tester to come out clean. Once they're done baking, remove them from the oven. They will be a little bit soft, but they will firm up as they cool. So allow them to cool in the mold for at least 30 minutes or until they're firm enough to remove from the mold without falling apart. After 30 minutes, remove them from the mold, transfer them to a wire rack, and allow them to cool completely before slicing them. Once they have cooled completely, use a sharp knife. Cut them in half horizontally, creating a top and bottom bun. Then fill them with your favorite filling. Make them into sandwiches, make them into burgers, or just slap some butter on them. However you choose to eat them, just eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.